What is up, guys? Doomwake here, and welcome to another modern video on the channel. Before we continue, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, and last but certainly not least, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. So, for those of you who don't know, the Modern Challenge on Sunday this past weekend was actually won by a deck featuring 4 copies of Crack the Earth. And not only did it win the entire tournament, there was also a nearly identical deck list in, I think, the top 8, maybe in 9th place. So this deck kind of just stormed the tournament and eventually took the whole thing down. And I can't really ignore, 4 Mana Tithe winning a Modern Challenge. I gotta give it a try. So this is Mana Tithe. For those of you who don't know, this has been basically a meme of the Modern format ever since the format's been created. But yeah, this deck is sweet. So let's kind of go over a little bit what's going on here. So we have Crack the Earth. What does this card do? Each player sacrifices a permanent 1 red mana. So really, really powerful when you're on the play, or even on the draw, and your opponent leads on their first land. Preferably when you're on the play, because the ideal synergy, you want to have something to pair with it. You don't want to just like play a mountain and sacrifice your mountain and they sacrifice their land. What we have to pair with it is you can sacrifice Mishra's Bauble, kind of a throwaway permanent. You can sacrifice Flagstones of Trokair, which is a very important card in this deck. When it dies, you get to search for a land and put it into play. So you can imagine you're sacrificing your land, but replacing your land so you're even on cards, and your opponent's down a land for only 1 mana. Pretty powerful effect. Also with Crack the Earth, you can also sacrifice tokens that are made off of Voldaren Epicure and Ragavan. So you're trading a token that you got for free for a land that your opponent had to spend their entire turn using their land drop for. So also very powerful. And then the other land destruction aspect of this deck is Boom Bust. So Boom Bust is a weird card. We're not really ever casting the 6 mana half of this card. The one you want to pay attention to is Boom, which is 1 in a red, destroy a land you control and a land you don't control. Pretty simple effect. And, again, as we mentioned earlier, Flagstones of Trokair, when it goes to the graveyard, you get a land. So you're up, you're even, and your opponent's down a land for 2 mana. Really powerful. The other cool thing you can do with Boom Bust is if you have a fetch land in play. You cast Boom Bust, you target your own fetch land, you hold priority before the Boom Bust resolves, you break the fetch land, you get a land off of the Arid Mesa, so you're, again, even on mana, and your opponent is still down a land. So that's the other thing you could do with Boom Bust. So we are pairing that kind of mana denial aspect along with taxing effects, Esper Sentinel and Mana Tithe, which both require your opponent to pay an additional 1 colorless mana. Esper Sentinel doesn't require it, but you get a pretty massive advantage when your opponent starts dumping spells into the Sentinel and not paying, so they're pretty incentivized to pay. And then Mana Tithe also really, really good with Sentinel. Like, if you have a Sentinel in play and your opponent plays a spell and they have to like decide whether or not they want to pay for the Sentinel, they tap out to pay for the Sentinel and then you Mana Tithe them, it's kind of backbreaking. So we're utilizing those 2 cards together, which is also nice. And then we're pairing that whole Mana Denial package, these 16 cards, along with just generically powerful cards. Ragavan, Dragon's Rage Channeler, Prismatic Ending, and Lightning Bolt. I'm sure you've seen these cards before. We don't need to go over those cards. And we also have an Urza Saga package. Now, I think the reason Urza Saga is in this deck is because we want to be a Lurrus deck. We have the ability to be a Lurrus deck because we're playing a million 1-mana cards. And Saga is just a way to kind of cheat on the Lurrus, where it gives you this incredible late-game powerful threat without sacrificing companioning Lurrus. So that's why we're playing with Saga. Really, we're not utilizing the 3rd chapter that much. We really only have a couple of 1-mana cards, a couple of the sideboard and some baubles. But just the fact that it provides you a good threat while also allowing you to companion Lurrus, that's why we're playing it. And then going over the mana base, we got some fetch lands. We got Flagstones, as we talked about earlier, really important card. 4 Sacred Foundries, because we need to have enough planes to search for with Flagstones. And then a couple of basics in case we play against Burn. Moving on to the sideboard, we have 4 copies of Wear Tear. The reason we're playing 4 copies of this card, which is a lot, is because I think the Hammer Time matchup is really bad, because cards like Esper Sentinel and Mana Tithe, especially, Ragavan can be bad against them. Crack the Earth, you imagine your opponent just sacrifices a Memnite, they don't really care about Crack the Earth. So you have a lot of cards. The Mana Denial plan against Hammer Time is not that good, so that's why you think you need to have a lot of sideboard cards for Hammer Time. We got a Pithing Needle to go with our Urza Saga package against Planeswalkers and those kinds of things. Soul Guide Lantern for the graveyard decks. One Deflecting Palm, good against Hammer Time, good against Belcher. Those are pretty much the only matchups you would want to bring it in. Maybe there's some other niche spots. 2 Helixes, mainly here for our kind of our anti-burn card, but also just a fine overall, you know, well-rounded card that you can bring in whenever you need another removal spell. So just, you know, a card that has a lot of utility. 3 Burrenton Forge-Tender, very important against the opposing Ragavan Channeler decks, also very good against Fury, because as you can imagine, when you're playing with Esper Sentinel, Dragon's Rage Channeler, and Ragavan, Fury is kind of an issue, so you really need Forge-Tender to help that. And then 1 Kataki just as kind of our additional Hammer Time hate card. Not the biggest fan of Kataki in general, because I think that Hammer Time can play through it pretty well, so maybe I would look to change that, but I just wanted to start with the challenge winning list, and then we can go from there. I'm really excited to play this deck. I don't want to make you guys wait any longer, and I will see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. Alright everybody, we are here for round number 1 of our league with Red-White Stone Rains. First and foremost, I just wanted to apologize for the record feature that is not here. Magic Online just recently had an update, and every time there's an update, for some reason, the bot that utilizes the record feature is down for a couple of days, so unfortunately we won't have access to that for this recording. This hand's really good though, so that's the good news. Our hand is dope. We can either lead on Channeler or Sentinel, depending on what our opponent's up to. We have a turn 2 Boom Bust, so pretty solid hand over here. Looks like our opponent's doing some Death Shadow stuff, which means we're probably going to get Thoughtseized. Inquisition. Cool thing about Inquisition is they can't actually take Boom Bust. So I imagine they'll take a creature, we'll play the other creature that they don't take. And what I'm actually going to do... See, this is interesting, because I kind of don't want to get my Boom Bust Drown-in-the-Locked. So I think what I want to do is actually just go basic Mountain Channeler, and I almost want to not play the Bauble. Because if I play the Bauble, I'm going to 100% keep the card on top, because I'm going to play this on turn 2, and I don't want to get drowned. So I think I'm actually just going to pass. I know it looks really weird to do that, but if I'm locking myself into keeping the card on top to play around Drown on my Boom Bust, I don't even want to play the Bauble here, because I'm just losing a free Scry. And I can actually get an additional Scry on turn 3 when I play the second Channeler. So I think it's actually a little bit better to wait. So we're going to go boom. It's time to boom. See if they have main deck Spell Pierce. They may or may not. No, they definitely don't. Okay, let's activate that. Let's get a Sacred Foundry. And then I'm still going to hold the Bauble for the Channeler next turn. We already have Delirium. That's kind of cool. Looks like they might play a Shadow. Nice thing is... That's not bad. Okay, so I can go Channeler, Bolt, Crack the Earth, Bauble. I can just play everything. Okay, I'm going to go Channeler, Bolt. Kind of stinks if they have their own Bolt, because they can Bolt themselves. I'm going to keep the Saga. I think I'm down to just play Crack the Earth. Just trade lands, because we have a Saga on top. Which means I kind of want to save the Bauble yet again, because I know the top card is good. I still wanted to play the Crack the Earth there to just make them down a land, which I think is worth it, but I don't think it's worth it to play the Bauble, because I know my top card is good. So we'll just go to combat. We'll attack for 3. We'll post-combat, play a Bauble, auto-yield to this. Is Mana Tithe a good draw? Not really when they have 2 lands. I think I'm just going to bin Mana Tithe. I'm not going to Bauble yet, because they play discard spells. So we'll Bauble on their upkeep. So the delayed draw will get around them having a discard spell. They have a Delta on top. Glad I didn't keep that Mana Tithe. I mean, I guess if they don't have land 4, I could potentially Mana Tithe the Lurrus, but it seems pretty unlikely, so I don't think it's worth keeping the Mana Tithe. The Crack the Earth Lightning Bolt turn was pretty good. That was definitely a good turn. Looks like they hit a Shadow. Okay. It's fine. They're at 8, and we have a 3/3 flyer, which they can't block, and we have some chump blockers for the Shadow. So not too bad. So now we can go ahead and attack. And they go to 5. I'm going to cast the Crack the Earth, which means I think I'm just going to sacrifice the Sacred Foundry, because I want to keep up the option to make a Saga token. Do I want another Saga? It's not a bad draw, but I think any removal spell, either Bolt or Ending, is better. Bolt's lethal, Ending is better versus the Shadow, so I think I'm just going to graveyard that. Then we'll sacrifice the Sacred Foundry. They'll probably sacrifice the basic Swamp. Question is, do we want to take 8 damage? I think we do. Because even if they have Dress Down... Well, actually... No, it's actually better to block. I know that I'm presenting lethal if I just take it and make 2 tokens and attack for 5. The problem is if I do that and they have Dress Down, I'm taking 8 damage. They're only taking 1, which means Bolt's not even lethal. And then they just get to kill both the constructs anyways. So I think that's bad. Okay, they're going to 4. Okay. Let's see if they find a removal spell for the Channeler. That'd be unfortunate. Maybe I am supposed to take it there. We can get Bomat off of the Saga, which is technically lethal if they don't find a removal spell. But they did. Okay, let's make a token. And they're at 4. Still think I'm going to get Bomat. And then just get in there for a point of damage. And this turn, I'm probably not going to block the Shadow. I think I'm just going to take 10. They might not even attack here, but... Alright, they have a Bauble on top. Yeah, that last turn was pretty close. I don't know if I'm supposed to block there. I feel like I am, because if I don't block and they have Dress Down, it's so bad for me. Given that they had exactly Fatal Push, maybe it would have been a little bit better if I had taken the damage, but, you know, it's pretty close there. I think you can make an argument either way, whether you want to play around a spot removal spell or a Dress Down. Maybe my play didn't make as much sense because they have more spot removal than they do Dress Downs. This I'm 100% taking, though, if they attack. I don't know if they're going to. They know what my top card is. I don't know. Yep, I'll take it. It's fine. I'll take a nice clean 10. The good thing is their deck doesn't play Team or Battle Rage, so we don't really have to worry about that. It's only Dress Down is like the way to get Shadow bigger, but you know, 10 versus 13 is not a pretty big difference when we could take a 13 ball even if they had the Dress Down. I guess they might cast the Dress Down now so that I can't sack the Bomat. Like if they know that I'm bricking, it might be incentivized to Dress Down now because then they know that I can't at least cycle the Bomat. So they're going to cast it now. They know my top card. So they... Okay. Sentinel's kind of a brick. Dress Down. Do I want to sacrifice the Bomat? The problem with sacrificing the Bomat is I lose Bolt as an out, so I'd have to draw Red Source and Bolt. So I think I'm just going to let this happen. I think that's fine. Do I want to attack? I guess I can Bauble them now to see if their top card's a removal spell, which it is. So I guess I probably have to hold back. Give myself 2 chump blockers. Could even potentially chump block and sack the Bomat if this card's bad. If this card's Bolt, Mana Tithe not the best against in this spot. So we know they have Drown on top. Given that I bricked, I think I'm just going to block and sack the Bomat. I mean, it's really bad because they just get to drown the Esper Sentinel, but hopefully... Okay, that's not horrendous. I wonder if we can maybe bait them into drowning the Sentinel to go for lethal. There's no way they do that, right? There's no way they drown this. Okay, no attacks. I'm just going to pass. I wonder if actually playing the second Sentinel was bad. Because if I don't play the second Sentinel, there's a chance they go for end step Drown to try and just try and push a lethal attack. Question is, do we cast the Bolt end of turn? Because they're holding up Drown. And they're at 3. The nice thing about casting Bolt end of turn is I can draw another one. And I'm dead in 2 anyways, because here's the thing, right? They know that Bolt's an out, so they're going to hold up the Drown. Like, what I was thinking is they might go for end step Drown, untap, try to kill me. But they're not going to do that, because they have me dead in 2 anyways. So I don't think they're incentivized to tap out. And, like, potentially, if this gets countered, I can maybe draw a Prismatic Ending, which I guess I could draw anyways. But obviously, only having 1 red source makes me kind of inclined to cast the Bolt now. I'm not sure if that's right, though. It's very close. Maybe this is just bad into the known Drown. It's really close. If I had a second red source, it'd be pretty easy, but... Okay, Shadowspear is not exactly what we're looking for. Alright, pass the turn. See if we're dead. Pretty good feeling we're dead. Alright, dash Ragavan, we are indeed dead. Alright, so moving on to game number 2 against Grixis Shadow. Definitely want these Soul Guide Lanterns. Needle is not very good. I think Helix is not very good. Palm... I really don't like Palm against the Thoughtseize decks. Forge-Tender is okay against Ragavan. The card that I really want to cut is actually Mana Tithe. The problem with Mana Tithe in a matchup like this is all of their cards cost 1 mana anyways. Like, I don't think you're ever going to get a profitable trade off of Mana Tithe, and that's kind of why I don't really want it in my deck. At least with Crack the Earth and Boom Bust, you can make it so that these cards are good. Like, you can just sack random Baubles, or Flagstones, or treasure tokens off Ragavan, or, tokens off of Epicure. Like, you have ways to mitigate the downside of Crack the Earth and Boom Bust. Mana Tithe is just... If it's bad, it is heinously bad, and I don't really think I want a card like that in this matchup. I think I'm just going to do 2 Forge-Tenders. It's not a card that I want to draw multiples of, because it's really bad against Death Shadow exactly, but a card I don't mind having, turn 1 against Ragavan. So we'll go ahead and choose to play. And this hand seems fine. Going to go for the high upside line. Always, in my opinion, I always go for the high upside lead on Ragavan line. I don't even think, like... I don't even know if there's a matchup I would switch up. It's just, if they have a hand that's all discard spells, they lose the game, pretty much. Not lose the game, but, you're going to get a massive advantage with 1 Ragavan hit, especially in a matchup like this, where you both have infinite cards that cost 1 mana. Let's go to combat. Kind of awkward that I have my basic planes, because what I really wanted to do is play double channel this turn. Oh. They just don't have a removal spell. Okay. Well, I can't Boom Bust because they have a fetch land. But I can just fetch a basic mountain and play 2 channelers. So I guess I'll do that. I mean, I guess this plays into engineered explosives. Maybe that's bad. But if they play in explosives, I can maybe blow up their land with Boom Bust. Go from there. Maybe it was worth playing the plains and sacking the treasure instead of playing the mountain, because then I lose the ability to go Boom Bust, blow up mountain, fetch land. It's pretty close. Wonder what they're casting. Drown in the Lock. Okay. Kind of want to upkeep this Bolt just so I can try to flip. Just so I can try to flip Delirium. It's a little aggressive, but... creature, instant, land, enchantment. So that's Delirium. I guess I'll keep a 3rd Channeler. Because I can just go Channeler, Boom Bust. It's a pretty aggressive hand. Alright, attack for 6. Like, they're just dead next turn. It's a pretty good hand. Alright. Boom. I'll target my planes and your steam vents. And good luck. I don't even need that. I don't know what I'm looking for. Probably just like another threat. Maybe I should have kept that other channeler. I probably should have kept that channeler. I'm thinking that I'd rather have a Saga, but I don't even know if that's true. Okay, well, that draw was insane. So let's see if we can replicate that. That was a really good draw. All right, let's go to game 3. Game 3. The thing about this deck is you're so much better when you're on the play. Like, if you look at the cards in this deck, like Ragavan and Crack the Earth and Boom Bust, like, your cards have there's a massive difference when you're on the play versus the draw with a deck like this. Mana Tithe, too. Obviously, we cut the Mana Tithes in this matchup, but Sand's really good if I find a red source. You know, I have a really hard time mulliganing somewhat functioning hands against a Death Shadow deck. Like, I have 2 castable spells and an Urza Saga. I think that's good enough for me, and, you know. Okay, that's a good draw. I am going to lead... What am I leading on? It's kind of close. I want to save Ending for Shadow. Is that true, though? Because maybe they kept a hand that's, like, really relies on the Surveils from Channeler. And if they have Inquisition, they can't even take the Boom Bust. I think I might just Ending the Channeler. Maybe this is bad, but it's kind of close. Let me know in the comments what play do you like here? Forge-Tender or Ending? It's definitely not Ragavan for sure. It's either Forge-Tender or Ending. I'm not sure which one's better. Kind of like casting a white spell so I could potentially double spell next turn. Okay, so now I'm just going to go... I think basic land is fine. Just go basic mountain, Boom Bust, and just blow up their shock land. Try to steal the playback, as it were. And that's the thing about Boom Bust. Like, even when you're on the draw, I guess when you draw Boom Bust plus Flagstones, when you're on the draw, you've kind of stolen the playback, right? Like, we're at parity, except I'm playing my 3rd land before my opponent is, and that's kind of the draw to playing cards like that. I think what I want to do is go Sentinel into Dash Ragavan, and that way if they have Drown in the lock, I get the draw card. So let's lead on Sentinel. See what they do. I wonder if they're going to counter this. They're not. Okay, that's fine. So now we go Dash Ragavan. And again, I'm playing Sentinel into Dash Ragavan because if they have exactly Drown, then I get the draw card. If their removal spell is, 1 mana, then I don't get the draw card. It's a little bit worse if they have a Push or a Bolt, but higher upside if they have Drown. Or they could just have no removal spells, and that also works. So we'll play a Forge-Tender, and then I will pass. It's like they're going to crack their fetch for a red source. They're shocking. Terminate targeting Esper Sentinel. Wow. Not the Ragavan. Very surprised at that. Kind of leads me to believe they don't have any lands in their hand. Not sure. Really depends. It's a very interesting play. Okay, that's fine. You probably have Fatal Push, right? Nope. No blue mana, that's good. I would like to make tokens for the next couple of turns, so let's just hardcast Ragavan. And I think I'm just going to play a Saga. Playing a Saga is a lot worse if they have Alpine Moon specifically. But I think what I want to do is play the Saga, then play the Mesa, then play the other Saga, kind of split it up a little bit. I want to get aggressive. Getting aggressive is not bad if they have a way to kill the Forge-Tender, like a Fatal Push, or even a way to turn these on, because I'm not going to be able to block them anyways if they can get Delirium. So I think attacking is fine. Because they're only, what do they have? Instant artifact lands. They're a sorcery or a creature away. Okay, well, they've had enough. I mean, our Game 2 draw was obviously obscenely powerful. This draw wasn't as good, but, as you saw, we just cast a Boom Bust. We stole the playback, and that tempo advantage was just so huge, and that's why this deck is so good. We're 1-0, and that's awesome. So stay tuned, and we'll be back here in just a little bit for round number 2. All right, everybody, round two. Are we ready to cast some Mana Tithe? Because we're on the play this game. So, Mana Tithe you? This hand is what we like to call Chef's Kiss. This hand is brutal. The question is, what do we lead on? And I think there are, I think you could make an argument for all three: Ragavan, Sentinel, or Hold Up Mana Tithe. I think I'm just going to go for broke and go high upside and lead Ragavan. It's pretty close, but it is certainly the most high upside line, and if they don't have a removal spell, the game's probably over. The game is almost certainly over if they don't have a removal spell for Ragavan. Even if they do, my follow-up of, Esper Sentinel into Crack the Earth, sack this, blow up your land. So, I'm Stone Raining them and playing a Sentinel, which is pretty backbreaking, and then I can Stone Rain them again. Looks like they have P ending. Alright, so let's go. Oops. Tap our white, play a Sentinel, play Crack the Earth, sack this. I would like to search for a Sacred Foundry tapped, and it's your turn. The next turn we can go Voldaren Epicure, Crack the Earth, sack the token. Hopefully find a land to hold up Mana Tithe, but, we'll have 2 lands and 2 creatures, and our opponent will have no permanents. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I would say that's pretty good. Now, we don't have too much of a threat, per se, but... Alright, there's the Epicure. Let's play Sacred Foundry untapped to hold up Mana Tithe, just in case. I'll sacrifice my blood token. Alright, I have 5 permanents to my opponent's 0. Let's see if they want to keep playing. I mean, they almost certainly do. Again, I don't really have any threats in play. That's why Saga's so important with this deck. Let's attack. Do I want to blow up a mountain or just pick up Lurrus? Honestly, I kind of want to just blow up a mountain. I just want to press my advantage. Might be kind of a loose play, but... Alright, your turn. Obviously, I wish I had a fetch land or a Flagstones, but... I'll just keep blowing up their lands. They'll eventually run out, right? Bauble you. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I think they're going to be pretty close to casting that one anytime soon. Alright, draw a card. We got Mana Tithe to punish them too. They have a Steam Vents. Likely a Fire Ice. I'm not picking up Lurrus. I definitely am not picking up Lurrus. I would like to hold up Mana Tithe. I'm going to even Mana Tithe that, just to, again, press my advantage. So they go to 7. I think I'm going to leave the Mesa in play in case I draw another Boom Bust. Because for those of you who don't know, I explained this in the intro, but you can Boom Bust a fetch land, hold priority, and sack the fetch land. So the Boom Bust will resolve and the only target is their land, and you won't lose a land because you'll crack the fetch. But that's one of the big synergies with Boom Bust and fetch lands. It's not just good with Flagstones. So this Teferi is going to get... Oh, it's not a Teferi. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to let them target the ending, because I'm going to Mana Tithe the ending and get the draw card. They do get to trade the Snapcaster Mage, which is a little annoying, but... A little annoying that they get the trade. That was a hell of a draw step. So we'll go ahead and put them to 3. And then we'll just go Saga, pick up Lurrus. Keep the fetch land up again for Boom Bust potential. And then we have Saga to kind of finish off the game. It's this blue. Consider. The Expressive Iteration, huh? I don't usually see that in Jeskai Control. It's a bit of a different one. I mean, it makes sense, the card's powerful. Alright, that is why we saved our fetch land, ladies and gentlemen. So we can go ahead, attack, Boom Bust, sack the fetch, blow up their only white source, and make a token. So you gotta hold priority. For those of you who don't know in Magic Online, the trick is to hold control, and then cast the boom, target the fetch land, and then still with priority, you'll sack the fetch land. This is going to come into play untapped so I can make a token, and then finishes resolving because it only has 1 target, and then that is that. And our opponent is probably done for. Don't we have a Pirate Spellbomb in our main deck too? I believe we do. Which is just lethal. I want to say there was a Pirate Spellbomb. I'm like 99% sure there was. I know there's at least a Bomat Courier. Pretty sure there was a Pyrite. No, just the Bomat. I'll get the Bomat. And then we will play our land and go to attacks. And then if they have Dress Down to kill the constructs, still have lethal. So they're going to steal a construct. Okay. And then I'm going to attack with both. They're going to trade for Bomat and go to 1, which means the fetch land is now turned off. I'm not going to play Lurrus. Actually, no, I am. I changed my mind. Because the thing is, they can't play Verdict. Because if they go to 1, they can't crack a fetch. Assume they should block Bomat, right? Alright, crack fetch. Yeah, because now they just can't physically. They physically can't cast Verdict or they die. So, game should be over. Bauble you. And Counterspell. That's a good draw. Alright, moving on to game number 2. Take a look and see what we get the sideboard in here. Just a second. Alright, game 2 against Jeskai Control. I like the Needle for Teferi and other Planeswalkers. I don't hate the Lantern if they're on a bunch of Snapcaster Mages. It's generally not the best. But they did show me multiple Snapcaster Mages, so I'm not opposed to it. That being said, there's not a lot of bad cards. I think the Shadowspear is kind of medium. So I think that's a pretty clean swap. And then maybe a couple Lanterns over a couple Bolts? Or maybe like an Ending in a Bolt? Ending is not great. Actually, I'm just going to cut 2 Endings. They might have Chalice, though. Chalice is definitely a card they could bring in. So I guess I'll just keep all the endings. Maybe I just want 1 Soul Guide to tutor for. I don't want to overdo it on Snapcaster targets, or on, like, anti-Snapcaster stuff, because who knows how many Snapcasters they... I mean, they played 2 that game, but we'll do it like this. I don't think I want Wear Tear, because I believe the only target in their deck is Chalice. And I already have 4 endings, and I think that's enough. Like, obviously Chalice is very good against our deck. The problem with overboarding for Chalice is there's going to be games where they just don't draw the Chalice, and you draw too many answers to the Chalice, and you lose because you just draw a bunch of bricks. So, I think drawing exactly 1 answer to Chalice a game is just about where I want to be, because they're going to play it on turn 2 anyway, so as long as it's my opening hand, then it should be fine. This hand's perfect. Not perfect, but this is like the other half of the deck. It's like not the mana denial plan, but kind of like the just good aggressive curve kind of thing. We get to go Bomat, hold up, Mana Tithe on turn 2. I think I'm going to graveyard that. If I had a Boom Bust in my hand, I'd probably keep it, but keeping... yeah, I was worried about that. But keeping a land is so bad when I already have 3 mana. Like, I don't really want the 4th land. And if I don't draw exactly Boom Bust and I keep that land, it's just so bad for me. So I don't think it's worth it. Is this Lightning Bolt? Oh, they have Ragavan. Okay, I was not expecting that. I wonder if they're more of like a Stoneblade deck with Ragavan. So I'm just going to go Bomat plus Prismatic Ending. Artifact, Sorcery, Land. Again, I don't want more lands, so... Attack for 2. They go to 15. We get a Saga. Yeah, I wonder if they're more of like a Stoneforge Mystic deck with Snapcaster and Ragavan. Because they're definitely not traditional Jeskai control. They do have a lot of charms, though. Well, they played 1 leg last game. But they have not played a non-blue source, so I assume their mana base is heavily centered around the fact that they have tons of Archmage's Charms and counterspells. What's our plan this turn? I think our plan is to just go to attacks, see what they do. If they cast Charm, I'll Mana Tithe. I don't think they're casting Charm. Which means I am just going to hold up Saga, I believe. The question is, do I want to play Saga or Mesa? Like, how much do I want to get? Do I want to get full value out of both Sagas? It would give up the ability to play Bolt and Mana Tithe on their turn. I'm just going to play Mesa and pass. I don't want to play Boom Bust into Counterspell because I Boom Bust, they Counterspell. I can't Mana Tithe because they have a mana left over. Okay, Snapcaster Mage is fine. Wonder why they didn't do that in combat. I'm not going to counter the Consider. They been to Ragavan, right? Yeah, they've been to Ragavan. Just going to make tokens. Bone Fountain tapped. 5 cards in hand. So it's kind of awkward. If I tap out for Saga, they could steal my token while my white source is tapped, but... okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Do I want to make a second token? I guess that was the downside to playing the Mesa last turn, is now I can't make a token and cast one of my spells. So I'm kind of incentivized to just make a mana here, which is not great. I am going to get Delirium off of the Channeler, which is nice. I really want to hold up Mana Tithe, because I kind of feel like they have Charm. Well, no, because if they had Charm, they would have fired it off while I was tapped out, I assume. I'm just going to get Lantern. I'll target Ragavan, I guess. Doesn't matter too much. We're going to play the other Saga. And then, honestly, I think I'm just going to go to combat and just hold up my stuff. I could play Boom Bust. I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to attack for 6, not trade Nana for the Bomat for Snapcaster trade, and just hold up Bolt Mana Tithe. I think I like that play. If they have Charm, I'll Mana Tithe. They definitely don't have Charm, though, because they should have cast Charm while I was tapped out. Maybe they just didn't have a stop. Okay, well, that's good for me. Now I can even Bolt the Snapcaster before attacks. Kind of just want lands at this point. So we'll Mana Tithe that. I'll Bolt the Snapcaster, just so I can attack with the Bomat. That I think I'll keep, because it's a haste threat. So they take 7. Oh, it's going under the Bomat. Right, okay. I probably should have put the Channeler under the Bomat. I mean, if they Wrath me this turn, it doesn't matter either way, but... Teferi Time Raveler. That's not a Wrath. Okay. So they're going to bounce Channeler. I guess bounce token makes more sense. And now they can kill the Channeler. Yeah. And they have 3 cards left. I think I'm going to draw a card off the Lantern. Kind of need some action. Okay. Not exactly what we're looking for here. Not exactly what we're looking for, huh? Alright, I will attack Teferi. This is really awkward. I kind of want to sack the Bomat to try and hit a land drop to activate Saga. Because my hand is awful. Let's do that. It's really bad if I miss, but I think it's worth the upside. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Kind of awkward that I don't get to keep the Bomat in play, but I do really think it's worth it to just establish my mana, because if I don't do that there, I'm priced into tapping out the next 2 turns to make a Saga token, and then I lose a land and I don't have the ability to sack the Bomat next turn, unless I find a land anyways, which is just... I think that's worse than just, not guaranteeing, but making it much more likely that I hit my next land drop there. It's close. It's very close. Okay. Do want to make a token. Could just go for lethal here. float mana, get Needle on Tef, play Bauble, dash Ragavan. Could even go play Sentinel, dash Ragavan. And they have 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no way they would counter Ragavan. It's worse if they have... It's really bad if they have Charm, because they can charm this token, and then I can't really attack with the Ragavan. But then their Teferi is still... Their Teferi is still gonzo, because I get the Needle, so I think that's worth it. So we'll name Teferi Hero. Lead on Sentinel. Dash Ragavan. Cast Bauble. And then I will go to attacks. Okay, they've conceded. Cool. I mean, I assume they had a way that, like a counterspell or a charm there, but that was a sweet game. I think maybe I messed up sequencing a little bit with, like, I probably should have kept that other channeler, although it would have went under the Bomat anyways. Very interesting game, though, and we are 2-0. I hope you guys are enjoying this little red-white Boros Crack the Earth deck. So let's see if we can keep it going. Stay tuned, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 3. All right, guys, let's keep blowing up some lands, shall we? Have we won all 3 die rolls? I don't remember if we won the first die roll. I know we won the second one, but this hand is not as good as our first couple of hands, but I do have Mana Tithe and... I'm trying to think if what I want to lead on here. I'm going to lead on Mesa, I think, just to kind of disguise my hand a little bit. No early pressure, which is kind of annoying. This is more of a reactive plus Saga hand. Not that the hand's bad per se, but not nearly as good as our first couple of hands. I think I'm probably going to Mana Tithe literally anything they play. With the exception of a 1-mana creature, then I'll just bolt that. Could Prismatic Ending this instead of Mana Tithe. Is that better? The nice thing about not countering Utopia Sprawl is I can give myself the out of drawing Boom Bust, and I kind of just annihilate them. Yeah, let's actually play the Sacred... Let's actually just get Sacred Foundry and let this happen. Because if we draw Boom Bust, or I guess Crack the Earth, they just sacrifice the Sprawl, but... Okay, I really, really do not want them to resolve Wrenn and 6. So I think I'm going to go Flagstones, ending the Utopia Sprawl, and then just pass. Like, it looks weird to not play the Sentinel here, but if I play Sentinel, they have Wrenn and 6. Ugh, it's rough. This deck is not the best against Wrenn and 6. So I think you need to prevent that from happening at all costs, if at all possible. Okay, that's a good draw. So now we get to go Urza Saga. Gonna go... So I'm gonna have to play the Sentinel anyways, because I have to target my Flagstones with the Boom Bust, which means regardless of what I do, I'm not gonna be able to hold up Mana Tithe. So I might as well just play the Sentinel first, in that case. So we'll do the Boom. I don't think they have Wrenn and 6, because I think if they had it, they probably would have cast it. Oh, they're playing... Did I not realize what color they chose with Utopia Sprawl? I thought they chose red. Am I missing something? No, they did choose white. Okay, they're just playing Heliod. I totally missed that. For some reason, I just assume they always choose red. So I assume it's always Ponza. Alright, we'll go Sacred Foundry untapped, so we can hold up Saga token and Mana Tithe / Bolt. And the Saga is our pressure. We get to Mana Tithe the Heliod. If they play Spike Feeder, I'll probably just let it resolve and bolt it, because I'd much rather Mana Tithe. Like, I'm only going to Mana Tithe either Collected Company or Heliod in this matchup. I'm basically not using this on anything else, because those are the 2 most important cards. Yeah, definitely going to Mana Tithe that one. That one's not happening. Not if I can help it. Get Mana Tithed. Alright, well, our leftovers are not great, so that's unfortunate. Let's get the Shadowspear or Bomat. If I get Bomat, I can play Sentinel. These are 5, so it's 5, 6, 7, they go to 8, and I have Bolt Up to prevent the combo. I think the Bomat is worth more damage. Well, it's obviously worth more damage this turn. It's just a question of, do I want the do I want the potential of having Shadowspear for next turn on a Construct token to get through blockers? But given that I have a Bolt anyways to get through blockers, I think it's fine. And also their best play this turn is Collected Company, in which case I'm going to draw 2 cards. So, easy game. So game number 2, I want the Needle for Spike Feeder. Lightning Helix is fine, but not great. Kataki, Palm are both bad. I don't think they have any good wear tear targets. I mean, they have Utopia Sprawl, but I think that's it. And they might be trimming on Utopia Sprawl anyways, because that's a risky proposition against Boom Bust. Question is, what do I want to cut? If I want the Helixes, which I'm not sure that I do. Probably not much that I have to do here. Maybe just, like, shave on... I think I'm only going to bring in the Needle. Maybe shave a Ragavan. Because they're probably going to bring in... they're probably going to bring in a bunch of protection from red creatures for Ragavan, like Sanctifier and all that stuff, or React Champion. So, yeah, let's do that. I think just really late sideboarding. Maybe the Helixes over more Ragavans on the draw. That's pretty close, but it's the only other thing I could really think of. But, see, the thing is, I think if they lead on a Utopia Sprawl draw and not an Arbor Elf draw, I think Ragavan is a lot better. Because you have the, like, the problem with them leading on Elf, if you don't have removal spells, they can cast Company on 2. Right, and they can Company into, like, multiple things that break your Ragavan. Oh, no, this is the same hand. Hey, look, alright, I'm on the draw with a Mishra's Bauble, so that means that I'm obligated to keep, is that right? That's how this works? Granted, I'm going to keep this hand because, again, it's just such high upside, and I at least have a turn 1 play regardless of what happens. And I think this hand is too good to pass up. If this hand hits, it's way too good. Okay. I guess I'm going to play the Needle. Am I? Kind of want to use my mana. Because if they play a 1-drop next turn and I draw a red source, I might want to go... It's just, it's not clear that what I want to name either Heliod or Spike Feeder. Probably just Heliod. Because Spike Feeder I have covered with bolts. So they're going to do that, that's fine. Just upkeep Bauble them. So I'm just going to name Heliod with this. Heliod, Sun Crowned. We'll crack the Bauble, see what they're drawing. They're drawing a Temple Garden. Basic Plains, Auriok Champion. Alright, need that red source. Okay, did find the red source. I'll let them have a champion for a turn. I'm just going to Boom Bust. So, boom it up. Boom it up. I would like to save it for the Temple Garden, but it's too good of an opportunity to pass up here. Just Stone Rain them for free. Take the tempo back. Now I can go Channeler and Ending. Potentially do something else depending on what they do. Conclave Mentor. Okay. So they're going to hold back the champion. Wow, that is an aggressive attack. 4 cards in hand, huh? Okay, so let's go Saga. Bolt this, dash Ragavan, play Channeler. I think that makes sense. Bolt this. Dash Ragavan. And attack, play Channeler. Just Omega punish them for attacking with the champion. Then we have the Channeler that starts getting in there. And they don't have a third land? Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And now we can pivot to just making Saga tokens. Obviously, we're not going to dash the Ragavan into the champion. So I can just go crack for probably a basic mountain. Play the Sentinel. I probably should have sacrificed. Like, I don't know if they have disenchants or something, but I want to try and play around them, so... what I probably should have done was just fetch before playing the Sentinel. But it's fine. So now even if they play Heliod, it's not, they can't do anything with it because we have the Needle, and we can just ending the Auriok Champion next turn. Probably have Skyclave, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Skyclave resolves. So they get to kill the Channeler, but we do get to make 2 Saga tokens. The really nice thing about Saga in this matchup is they can't Skyclave the tokens, and this is one of their premier removal spells. And Saga does not care about it in the slightest, which is really nice. So I'm definitely making a second token, because this is my biggest pressure here. And what are we going to get with Saga? That's the question. Shadowspear, Bomat, or Bauble? I would like to cast Prismatic Ending on Auriok Champion this turn, I believe. Just to make it so they gain a little bit less life. I think I'm just going to get Shadowspear, because that could potentially get me through blockers next turn. So, like, the cool thing about doing the Prismatic Ending thing this turn is I get to use all of my mana, and then next turn I get to dash and equip the Shadowspear. And also the really important thing about exiling the champion this turn is if they cast Heliod next turn, it's turned on. So they would get a trigger and get to put a counter on something. Maybe that's not that relevant, and the cool thing about them playing Yavimaya is it actually gives me a third color for Prismatic Ending to be able to Prismatic Ending a Heliod for 3, because I don't actually have a third color in this deck. So it's possible I was supposed to hold the ending for exactly Heliod. Okay. Dash. Okay, new plan. No equip a Shadowspear. It's not going to look suspicious at all if I don't equip the Shadowspear, right? Right? This isn't suspicious at all. Don't worry, there's nothing to see here, opponent. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. God. Oh man, I thought Mana Tithe was a troll, but it's a little bit more than a troll, you know? It's kind of just busted. Your opponent's playing with 4 mana cards. They had land 5 now. They got me. They got me real good. Alright, well, we're 3-0. This deck, I mean, it's funny because when I saw this deck won the challenge, I thought it was a joke. And we've kind of just been steamrolling people. These games have not really been that close. I mean, we had a pretty close match against Shadow, but we're 3-0. This is awesome. Let's see if we can keep it going. Stay tuned, and we'll be back here very soon for round number 4. All right, everybody, round number 4. We are crushing with Crack the Earth. And see if we can keep it going. This hand, on the draw with Mana Tithe. We do get to go Mana Tithe into Sentinel plus Crack the Earth, sack Flagstones. I'm going to keep this. It's pretty high upside. I think this hand's worth keeping. Obviously, being on the draw with Mana Tithe is a little bit suspect, but Bauble with no Lurrus is interesting. I wonder what that's about. Alright, let's play Sacred Foundry so I can give myself the option of playing Bolt or Mana Tithe, depending on what happens. Like, example, if they go, you know, they go land 1 drop and then pass with a mana up, I'll just Bolt end a turn. But any 2-drop, I will 100% snap off this Mana Tithe. Hopefully it's like a Goyf or a Bob or something, and then we just get to go Flagstones, Sentinel, Crack the Earth. Urza's Saga. Really hope they play that 2-drop here. Thoughtseize. Now they're going to take Crack the Earth. Alright, I'm not going to Mana Tithe this. No, I'm not going to Mana Tithe this. Wow, they took Sentinel? Holy crap. I mean, they know about the Mana Tithe, so I'm just going to cast it. I am shocked they took Sentinel there. That is... Whew. I am very shocked. I mean, I'll take it. I will take it. Very, very shocked they took Sentinel there. Alright, let's do this. Tapped. Your turn. I wonder what their follow-up is if they decided to take the Sentinel there. Okay. I mean, I don't even know if that makes sense. I mean, obviously, it's bad for them because I drew the ending, but... had I not drawn the ending, maybe their play is a little bit better. But it's not like the Sentinel is going to be good against the Goyf anyways. Interesting. I feel like they should have just taken the Crack the Earth. I don't really understand taking the Sentinel if your follow-up is Goyf. Played a Verdant Catacombs and an Elvish Reclaimer. Don't really care about that, because... oh, no, this is... right, 3 or more lands. I guess I do care about that. So I can't kill the Reclaimer. So, unless I want to double bolt it, which I don't think I do. So let's just play this tapped and pass. Just make some Saga tokens. I don't think it's worth double bolting the Reclaimer and not making any Saga tokens. I think I'll just let them have this for a turn or two. It's like a pretty slow, value-oriented card. Kind of awkward that they get to blank my Saga tokens next turn, because I can go end step, make a token, untap, make a token, get a third artifact, but this is a 3-4, and I have 2 3/3s. So I can't really attack unless I wanted to trade a bolt and a token for a Reclaimer, which might be worth it, because I have 2 Sagas anyways, but... Wither Bloom Command. Mill 3, get a land, drain for 2. Alright, sure. Wither Bloom Command. Alright, I got a Saga. It's fine. Probably just going to hold up the... wow, they're attacking. Wonder why they didn't just make a token. Interesting. Okay, just going to go token, token. I think now I'm going to dash Ragavan, which means I kind of want to just get Bomat and just get hyper aggressive. Just get ultra, super, mega aggressive. Because now if their plan was to push a construct token, we also have the Ragavan connecting. Because they 100% have push with their line. They push the Ragavan, that's fine. Take 4, go to 14. They know about the 2 bolts too, so they gotta watch out for that. And they're down to 2 cards. We actually have a good attack now because we have 4/4 constructs in the face of the Reclaimer, and we can bolt Saga tokens. So I think we should be able... wow, they're still attacking? Alright, alright. Wonder why they're not activating the Reclaimer. Very, very interesting. I'm going to go to combat. I'm going to attack. Trigger Bomat. They may or may not make a construct token. They are going to make a construct token, which I will bolt. And then I will make my own construct token, which is a 4/4. And now they take 9 and go to 5, and we still have a bolt left over, and we can get Shadowspear next turn. And we have a 4/4 to blank their Reclaimer. They can get a Shadowspear off of the Saga that's going away this turn and make a 4/5 Reclaimer, but they can't really attack with it, because if they attack with the 4/5 Reclaimer, then our crackback is way too good. So they definitely can't do that. Alright, so they're making a construct. Makes sense. And Saga's gonna go away. Let's see what they get. I assume they're gonna get Shadowspear. But I don't think it's gonna be really that good, because I'm gonna have 3 5/5s attacking. So don't think the Shadowspear is gonna be good enough. Wonder if this game would have been different if they had activated Reclaimer that one turn instead of attacking and had an extra Saga in play. I guess they wouldn't have had enough mana to utilize the extra Saga. They could have sacrificed 2 Sagas this turn to get another 1-drop, but I don't know how relevant that is. Alright, well, they took about 30 seconds to look through their deck, and then they conceded from the game. So we are going on to game number 2. So against another Saga deck, I want some copies of Wear Tear. I don't know how many total, but I definitely want some copies. Lantern's not terrible. Needle's not that bad against Reclaimer. Not a fan of Kataki, I think, because I think their only artifact-based card is Saga, and Kataki's like fine against Saga, but not that great. Helix, no. Maybe Helix, but probably not. These definitely not. These maybes. What is bad against them? I mean, to be completely honest with you, there's not really that much that's bad. Like, this deck is kind of just perfect. This deck is so good. I like all the mana denial. I like the Sentinels, especially because they're not playing Red and 6. Mana Tithe is maybe a little bit more suspect on the draw, especially against a deck that has so many 1-drops and Urza Saga. So maybe on the draw, I kind of want to cut all the Mana Tithes, because the thing about the deck that has a lot of 1-drops is when they're in the play, they're going to Thoughtseize you on turn 1. They're going to see the Mana Tithe, they know it's there. And then on turn 2, they're just going to play a Saga and another 1-drop. So not only can you not Mana Tithe their turn 2 play because they have an abundance of 1-drops to be able to play a second one, also, they have a Saga in play, which then blanks your Mana Tithe the next turn because they're just going to make a token. So I think Mana Tithe on the draw is pretty horrendous in this matchup. And I'm going to do, I think, Needle, Lantern, and 2 Wear Tears. I think I like that. Lantern's kind of nice because it mitigates the Elvish Reclaimers. I don't know if do I want more Wear Tears? It's only Saga, though. Let's go with this. Maybe having a pile of Wear Tears is good because they have access to so many Sagas between Elvish Reclaimer. So maybe I want more Wear Tears instead of... Sentinel is not the best either on the draw against Saga. Could trim Sentinels maybe and go like 3 Wear Tear, second Lantern. Let's go with that actually. I think I like that better. I don't think I want all 4 Wear Tears because drawing 2 is kind of bad, especially against Thoughtseize, where they just like ignore the first one, and if you have 2 copies, they don't take either of them, and then you just have, they can play the game in such a way that mitigates the effects of Wear Tear. So now you just have 2 dead cards in your hand, so we'll do it like this. Alright, game number 2. There's a Lurrus. I don't remember seeing that Lurrus for game 1. Let me know in the comments, did they have... Maybe they just forgot to reveal it, because I don't remember seeing this game 1. His hand's not great, but against the Thoughtseize deck, I think it's okay. It's got spells and lands. It's got too many lands, but I think it's okay. Alright, Channeler down. Channeler down. We're going to go Inspiring Vantage. Wait, they took Lantern? The heck? What in the heck? Confused. Oh. Well, they just have 6 their turn. That's awkward. It's really awkward. Am I going to boom bust them? Perhaps. Perhaps I'm going to boom bust them. We shall see. See what we draw. Maybe we'll just draw Flagstones and make it easy, but... Yeah, opponent said they have 6'd. Whoopsies. Fatal Push. Alright, Fatal Push resolves. I got enough lands that I kind of want to just fire it off. Just, like, go back to square one. I kind of want to do it. I don't know if this is right, but let's just do it. Let's just jam it. I have so many lands in my hand that I don't really care about making that exchange. Don't care if they have a discard spell. My Epicure is kind of whatever. Like, maybe this play is a little too aggressive, but... Like, I can't really play Saga and Boom Bust because then I just lose value off of my Saga, so that's kind of bad. Looks like they have Thoughtseize, my Epicure's down. But now we have Saga, which is not too bad. Spell here would be nice. Crack the Earth. I just want to fire it off. I mean... Kinda. Let's do it. Again, I still have enough mana to utilize the Saga, so let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. Bajuka Bug? Yeah, I don't care about that. I mean, I guess I kind of do, because I might eventually get to Lurrus, but that one's pretty good if they have a Saga. I feel like they might be out of lands. We're going to find out. we're going to find out if our opponent is on no more lands. Alright, Blast Zone. Blast Zone. Get blastin'. Get blastin'. Alright, you have a Thoughtseize, that's fine. I accept. Wear Tear down. Okay, Prismatic Ending. I'm gonna fetch now just in case they draw a disenchant, or they have a disenchant in hand and find a green source. I don't want them responding to the fetch and killing the Saga. There's the green mana. Tarmogoyf. Seal of Primordium. Alright, let's make a token. They're gonna blow up my Saga. Rude. I don't like it. I don't like it. Might have land here for Lurrus. That's not bad either. They may or may not have Fatal Push. They probably do, right? Yeah, they do. Alright. Alright, fine. One card. Problem is they have mana for Lurrus, and they have a flush graveyard, and we kind of don't. So that's the big issue here. Alright, attack for 2, and we're probably going to get buried by Lurrus. Because again, we don't have a third color for Prismatic Ending, so we basically have to draw Lightning Bolt. We're not going to have very many turns to draw Lightning Bolt before the Lurrus takes over the game. As a matter of fact, that would probably give us like 2 turns. And if we don't find it in 2 turns, the game's probably going to be over. Alright, Witherbloom Command. So they're going to mill and kill my Sentinel. Alright. Get back a land. Get back Verdant Catacombs. So land for Lurrus is not terrible. Ragavan's not terrible. Saga, I mean, well, Saga's our best draw, I think. Because Saga gives us, you know, access to a threat and mana for Lurrus, but that's not great. I guess we drew the Bolt. Not terrible. Force them to pop the Spellbomb now while they don't have black mana available. It's not a good use of my resources, but... Attack for 1. They go to 11. They play Lurrus, we can kill it. Okay, Lurrus, Reclaimer, resolves. Just going to kill the Lurrus now. Hopefully we draw an answer to the Reclaimer. If we don't, then we're going to be in trouble. Because now they can start getting Sagas. Channeler, not the best. We don't have Delirium. Maybe I was supposed to save the ending for the Reclaimer. Yeah, maybe that was bad. Alright, let's just go to game 3. I don't think we're really coming back from this. Alright, so we're going to be on the play. Does that mean I want Mana Tithe over Sentinel? Even on the play, I still am not a big fan of Mana Tithe. The thing is, these Wear Tears I'm also not a huge fan of. I'm going to bring back in the Sentinels in the play. Maybe 1 Wear Tear is fine, but I don't want to overload on Wear Tears. I think I like this. Let's do that. Alright, game number 3. Let's see if we can... We're on the play this time, so this hand is dope. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to play Ragavan and hope that my opponent does not have the Fatal Push. Hope they have mono discard spells. Again, one of those hands you just want to go for high upside. Nope, stayed on 6. Alright, let's go Sacred Foundry and Monkey! Monkey! See if they have the Fatal Push. Feels like they do. No? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 ho. I can play their Tarmogoyf. Okay. Do I just want to crack the Earth and sack the Saga? It is unbelievably aggressive, but they didn't have Fatal Push last turn. Let's do it. I don't know if it's right, but I'm going to go Goyf plus Crack the Earth, sack the Saga. Alright, Goyf. It's so aggressive, but I like it. Let's do it. Because the thing about this line is they didn't have a removal spell for the Ragavan last turn, which means that if they don't draw exactly Fatal Push or Bloodchief's Thirst, then they're going to be in a world of pain. Like, obviously, if they draw a removal spell for the Ragavan, then it kind of sucks, but yeah, I don't care about that. That does not matter. That one you can have. You know, maybe I should have played the Channeler, but we go for the high upside line. We go for the high upside line. Channeler, Epicure, your turn. Alright, they're at 12, and we have a massive board presence, and they have 1 land. So that's cool. I think we're about to be 4-0. I think we might be, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but, you know. Alright, Catacombs. Are they going to cast a Tarmogoyf? That one's not going to do it. Tarmogoyf ain't going to cut it. Got that one covered. Witherbloom Command. Alright, sure. That actually turns on our Channeler too. I don't really care about that. It's just a Lurrus turn? Yeah, it seems like a Lurrus turn. There's almost no coming back from this. Alright, Lurrus go. Lurrus go. Now they play the Tarmogoyf. I see. I see. Alright, I will cast Prismatic Ending. Force them to have Fatal Push for my Tarmogoyf. They do not have Fatal Push for my Tarmogoyf. We are 4-0 with Crack the Earth. Maybe this deck is cracked. Well, let's see if we can get a trophy. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 5. Alright, everybody, it's time. Round number 5. We are 4-0 with Crack the Earth. I'll have to go back and check, but I think I've won. I'm pretty sure I've won every die roll. Alright, I'm in. I am in. Don't think I'm going to play Shadowspear on turn 1, because I really want to cast this Mana Tithe. Opponent also revealed a Lurrus. Also played against 4 out of 5 Lurrus decks. I know we played against at least 3, because we played against Shadow, this deck, and Black-Green. And then we also played against Jeskai Control. I remember what the last matchup was. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. Give me a boom bust. Give me a boom or a bust. A boom or a bust, please. Boom bust? No. Saga, Shadowspear. Go. I don't know how the Hammer Time matchup is. I feel like it's probably not ideal. Because I don't think your Mana Denial is as good against them. Because they're just so... They're so low to the ground, so aggressive. Like, they're, you know, they're so much more mana efficient. And their cards are, like, way more powerful. You do have some good interaction. Like, you have Ending Bolt, Wear Tear, but... Okay, that's fine. But your Mana Denial is not. I don't think it's as good against them. They brick? Oh, they bricked. Alright, Saga happens. I think I'm just going to hold up Saga, right? Yeah, it's just... That's going to be our main threat this game. And then I can go Saga into Saga plus Ending if they play... If they get, like, a Hammer into play here, or maybe a Sigarda's Aid. Let's see what they got. Wow. That's their turn 3? Alright, I feel pretty good about this game. I'm not even going to cast the Ending now. I'm just going to play Channeler. Do I want to offer the trade for the Smith? I don't think so, because then they can just recast the Smith from the graveyard. Which gives them more access. I guess they could chump block anyways. Nah, let's just get Bauble. Maybe that's bad. Maybe I'm supposed to get the Bomat there and just let them trade. The thing is, I can just leave the Bauble in play. Just not activate it. I'm not going to activate it yet, because I think the clock might matter, because it's 5... Well, no, it's actually no different, because I'm losing 2 power from the constructs, but I'm gaining 2 power on the channeler, because it gives me Delirium. So yeah, I'll probably just sack it, which means I should have sacked it upkeep, but it's not a big deal. Okay, they got a Lurrus. They're casting Bauble. Alright, let's Bauble them. Bauble on Bauble action. They have another Saga on top. Good to know about. Good to know about. I wouldn't mind drawing an artifact here. This would be 4, 8, 11, potentially 12. Artifact and Lightning Bolt, I think, are my 2 best draw steps. Artifact being a way to up the... Okay, well, maybe this deck needs an access to a 3rd color here. So we'll go ahead and ending this. Go do that. Put that in the graveyard. Yeah, maybe that's a big problem with the mana base. I should probably equip a construct token, right? Yeah, okay. But yeah, maybe I think that might be a flaw in the mana base, is not having any access to a 3rd color for Prismatic Ending. Maybe it's just that you can't afford it, because I think if you were to play a 3rd color for Ending, it would have to be a Triome. But the problem is you can't fetch the Triome untapped if you need to fetch a 3rd source for Ending. And I don't know that you can afford to play like a Hallowed Fountain, because it would have to be a plane so you can fetch it off of Flagstones. And I think the only other logical one would be Hallowed Fountain, and with how many red cards are in our deck, I don't know if you can justify it. Like, you have Channeler, Bolt, and Ragavan. So maybe it's just the mana base does not allow playing a 3rd color for Ending. Even though it would be, really useful, especially when there's infinite Lurrus mirrors. Alright, they played Plains instead of Saga, which is interesting. Because we know they have a Saga on top, or they had a Saga on top. Sentinel from the graveyard. Sigarda's Aid. Okay, not great. No hammer, though. That's good. No hammer is good. They're at 9? They're not quite dead, are they? Like an ending this. Okay, let's lead on ending the Sigarda's Aid. And try to bait them into... Well, no, if they had hammer, they would have played it, but... I'm going to lead on ending on Sigarda's Aid regardless. Looking for a bolt. Don't think I want that Ragavan. I think I just want to find instant speed interaction. And now we can ending this. Needed to find an artifact there. Graveyard. They have to chump block with the Nexus, though. Oh, no, they can chump block with the Saga token, which is fine. It's the same thing. I think that's fine. Combat. So they go to 2. Right, they chump block here, go to 2. Okay. The nice thing about the Prismatic Ending on Sigarda's Aid is they don't have a Sigarda's Aid in play for when they get the hammer this turn, because they're obviously going to get a hammer. But yeah, drawing mono endings and not having one instant speed piece of interaction is kind of awkward. Because, like, that's really weird. The turning point comes in is when you have a piece of instant speed interaction against hammer time. That's, like, really usually what turns the corner. So they're going to make a token. Which, I mean, obviously they didn't have hammer last turn, but... And they probably would have played a second 8 if they had it. Could have Paladin. Certainly could have Paladin. Yeah, okay. So they get to animate Nexus, hit me with a giant Lurrus, and then re-equip after attacks. It's not great. Maybe the ending was a spew. It's possible that that other ending was a spew. The one in the Esper Sentinel, because I didn't really care about the Esper Sentinel that much. And now it's pretty much impossible to win this game. Let's do this. See what's on top. Don't really want that. I'm going to have to bauble myself because I really need to find, I think, a bolt. Bolt's not even good enough, though, because they have the Lurrus. So even if I bolt the Paladin upkeep, they can just replay it. So I don't really think we have any outs here. Let's go re-equip. Can I attack? Can I attack with this construct? They might double block. Trade 1, 2, 3. Ugh, it's bad. It's rough. It is rough. All right, attack. So they go to 11. We go to 13. Do we have any way out of this? I feel like we don't, but we'll take a draw step. Ragavan is probably not going to cut it. Would I have won this game if I held the ending? Perhaps, because I would have ending the hammer. The problem is I wouldn't have had lethal that turn, though. So even if I could ending the hammer that one turn, I still was not going to have lethal. Yeah, we're just dead. We are dead, because they can just move the Nexus re-equip. Or move the Nexus reactivate. Unfortunate. Alright, so Wear Tear, Kataki, Needle, Helix, Palm. And then I think I'm going to cut all the Sentinels, all the Mana Tithes. Kind of don't want Crack the Earth, but I think maybe I'm supposed to keep all of my Mana Denial, just not keep the Mana Tithes in. Helix is not exactly the most efficient card. 2 mana to kill, you know, I mean, I guess it kills Lurrus, but could actually have lanterns too, or a lantern. Bomat can probably go. Alright, this is maybe a weird sideboard plan, but let's try this. I feel like this is what you're supposed to do. Sentinel is really bad against Hammer Time. Alright, so here's my Lurrus. At least I think Sentinel's bad against Hammer Time. Sounds fine. Maybe I'm supposed to cut Ragavan, actually. Yeah, I probably was. I always forget that I'm supposed to, like, it's so weird. Because, like, you almost never cut Ragavan in any matchup, but I think this is the one matchup where you can justify it. Because they have so many, like, so many shitters that just trade for the Ragavan, or they board in protection from red creatures, so. Probably should have trimmed on Ragavan and maybe kept the Sentinels. But, I mean, Ragavan is much higher upside on the play, so. Memnite. Yeah, that's why Ragavan sucks. They still chose to cast Prismatic Ending. Interesting. I don't know if that's a play that I would have made, but like, I think they're pretty happy if I bolt a Memnite. Now we get a pretty good exchange. Just kill it all. No blocks. Certainly going to main phase the Wear Tear because I don't want them to activate Saga. Alright, let's go play Flagstones, fuse, this. Get them out of here. Pick them up. Just pick them both up. I really want to hit Delirium, but I'm not going to bin a bolt. Don't think I'm in the market for bidding a bolt. Alright, take 2. Take 2. Take 2. Can maybe go float mana with Flagstones, play second Flagstones, tap, and that in another red source, pick up Lurrus, hold up Bolt. They have Sanctifier. Prismatic Ending. Okay. Still gonna draw the Bolt. Let's just do... guess I'll attack first. Keep this, get a land. Pick up Lurrus, hold up Bolt, your turn. Not going to bolt the Memnite right now. Rather save the Bolt for a more high-value target. I mean, there is consideration to, like, just fire these off to try and get to Delirium. But hopefully I can use one of these this turn to get, like, to actually get a good target this turn, and then I can go, like, Lurrus into something else. Yeah, like that. Really happy they're running that out. It's very, very good for me. It's not a bad draw, but I kind of want to just bin it so I can get Delirium. Not sure if that's right. Because now I kind of want to... They have 0 cards. I'm going to save the other bolt, I think. Okay. They can't really block because they know we have Lurrus. So they almost certainly can't block. I think I'm still going to run out the Lurrus just to use my mana. Can't play anything off of it, but they have no cards. I still have Bolt up. I can't really see myself losing from this point. Yeah, that's probably not going to do it. Prismatic Ending. Alright, so let's kill the Sentinel, which will turn on Delirium. So we can do this, and then also hold up Saga tokens. Yeah, this game's over. Alright, we're going to game 3. See if we can get the hammer. How much do they multi this game? I know they mulled at least once. Curious. They went to 6. Okay, they went to 6. Went to 6 and had a bunch of reactive cards, but their reactive hand was not very good against our reactive hand, because we had reactive cards plus threats. Okay, so on the draw... Sentinel's got to be better than Ragavan on the draw, right? I feel like it has to be. Especially against Memnite and, you know, Sanctifier Envec, all that kind of stuff. Crack the Earth is still... I don't know. I really don't know if I should keep Crack the Earth. Like, would I rather have Ragavan than Crack the Earth? Maybe. What if I tried that? Like, the problem with Crack the Earth is just, they just sack a Memnite. So, it's so bad against that. Alright, let's go with this. As much as we've been dominating people with Crack the Earth and Mana Tithe, this is the one matchup where those two cards are just horrendously bad. So I don't think I want them in my deck. We do have 4 Wear Tears, though, so... some Sentinels, some interaction... I guess this hand's fine. I'll keep it. It's not the best hand in the world, but... I don't think it's a mulligan. Alright, I'm just going to play my own Sentinel and not the Bauble, because I don't want to give them a card. Next turn, what I'm probably going to do is play second Sentinel, and then Bauble pay for their Sentinel. Or I could just kill the Saga and pay for the Sentinel that way. Hopefully they attack. There's no way they're attacking, right? Yeah. Alright, take 1. I have Smith. Okay. Maybe I just have to suck it up and give them a card. This is rough. This is rough. Because I really want to kill the Saga this turn. That's, I think, priority number 1 is to tear the Saga. So what's the rest of my turn look like? I can tear the Saga, pay for the Sentinel, play Bauble, and then pass. Leave them with all 4 of their creatures. Or I can go Bauble, don't pay for Sentinel, tear the Saga, bolt the Smith, or maybe ending the Sentinel next turn. Bolt. Could also just play my own Sentinel. Maybe that's my best line. Is go Bauble, don't pay, tear the Saga, play my own Sentinel. Could also kill the Smith. Kind of like that line. I kind of like that line that I was talking about. So let's go crack this for a Plains. Let's play Bauble. I'm going to give them a card, which is really annoying, but kind of is what it is. Let's tear this now so I don't have to pay for the Saga tax. And your turn. It's dueling Sentinels. Okay, Ragavan not the best, but like, you know, Crack the Earth would also be horrendous on this board, so it's not like Crack the Earth is any better than Ragavan. Come on, start casting non-creature spells, please. Okay. It's annoying. Could just go bolt the smith, pay for the 2 sentinels. Whoa, I'm definitely taking this trade. That trade's happening. I like that trade. I definitely like that trade. Leads me to believe they're probably casting a non-creature spell post-combat, so I'll take my 2 for 1. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. So I can go ending the hammer, bolt the smith, and then pay. Right? Yeah, and I want to bolt the smith now because I want to pay for the tax. So let's go bolt the smith, pay. I think I have to ending the hammer just in case they have a paladin in hand. And then I think I'm going to hold back the sentinel still. I don't know if that's right. Could have also dashed Ragavan that turn, which might have been my one good turn to dash Ragavan when the Mem Knights were tapped out. Okay. It's not great. I can equip a Mem Knight, attack for 3. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. So we take 4. We go to 7. This is looking kind of dire. Hand did not materialize that well. Oh, great. Great. We drew a boom bust. Okay, well, dash Ragavan. Let's see if they want to trade. They probably don't, but don't really think we have any good hits off of their deck. I guess maybe a Prismatic Ending, if we get super lucky. Garderzade, huh? Okay, well, give you a card. I have to bauble myself to try and find a removal spell, I think. Okay. So that plays. Which means... Do I have to give them more cards? Or should I shock? I only have 2 basics, so I can't fetch a basic to pay. Because I have to pay 2 for the Sentinel. So if I shock, I go to 5. I kill this. Trade here, go to 2. Yeah, that's probably better. It's probably better. I don't know if it is, but it's close. I'm not going to kill the Paladin now. I'll just wait till they play an equipment. There's no reason to kill it now. So yeah, kill Paladin, trade here, go to 2, and then hopefully find a removal spell for this. Maybe trade the Ragavan for the Mem Knight, and then we still have to deal with the Lurrus. I mean, we're not out of it. We're, you know, potentially clawing our way back in this game, but it's going to take a string of good draws, for sure. And they know we have the Bolt because I shocked. It's pretty obvious I have Bolt. I guess it could be Wear Tear, but I wouldn't have shocked for Wear Tear, right? I would have just played a tap lane and then teared for 2. Or weared for 2. So it's definitely not Wear Tear. I assume they just shove. Yeah. Holding back a Mem Knight, sure. Alright, well I have to block. I think I still have to kill the Paladin, and not the Sentinel. Alright, kill the Paladin. Take 2, go to 3. I have 2 cards left. We find a removal spell for the Mem Knight. We can dash Ragavan and maybe get something going that way. Okay. We also have to find a way to beat the Lurrus. Which is not easy. Shadowspear. No! Because I only have shock lands in my deck. I can't go dash Shadowspear equip because I need 5 mana. Oh, no, not like this. Not like this. It's unfortunate. Well, I guess we just cast Ragavan, play Shadowspear, equip, so they can't attack with the Memnite. Yeah, if I pay for the Sentinel and don't equip, then they just attack with both and I'm forced to trade, which is also horrible. So I'd rather just give them a card. Equip here. I guess I'll play the fetch land. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, this is not looking good. So as of right now, we're not dead on board. We can, you know, if they attack with both, we block the Memnite. Attack with this, we're going to 1. We can attack past the Memnite next turn, but again, we still have to beat the Lurrus, which is going to be nearly impossible. Tough matchup. This matchup does seem very bad. Especially because game 1, you have so many cards that just are horrendous against them. Like, I think the entirety of Ragavan, Crack the Earth, and Mana Tithe, they're all just horrible cards against Hammer Time. And you just have too much of that stuff. Like, none of those cards are really good against their best draws. Okay, I played a Paladin from the graveyard. Equipping with the Memnite, sure. Take 2. How the hell do we get out of this? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Well, Mesa's not going to cut it. Alright, well, we tried. 4-0. Lost the last round. Take a look at the deck list here. You know, I don't know. I really enjoyed this deck. It was a lot of fun. I can definitely see how how this deck won the challenge. You got to dodge the Hammer Time matchup for sure, but felt pretty good against most of the other decks that we played against. The interaction between obviously Crack the Earth and Boom Bust and Flagstones, and just like Crack the Earth with Ragavan tokens and Epicure tokens, and there's a lot of cool synergies going on. A lot of mana denial plus like putting the tax on them with Sentinel and Mana Tithe. So deck was really sweet. Hope you guys enjoyed the league, and I'm out of here. I'll see you guys in... I can't talk. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.